Have you ever felt an unease around someone, like a shadow lurking just beyond your vision? They smile, they speak kindly, but something feels off. It's subtle, an energy, a hesitation, a moment of silence that lingers just a little too long. You can't quite put your finger on it, but deep down, something tells you that their words and their true feelings don't align. Most of us assume that if someone dislikes us, they would make it obvious. We expect hostility to be loud, direct, unmistakable. But reality is rarely that simple. True hatred doesn't always announce itself with anger or conflict. It doesn't always come in the form of insults or aggressive actions. Instead, it hides. It disguises itself in polite conversations, in forced smiles, in quiet betrayals that unfold over time. You might not even notice it until it's too late, until the damage has been done, until trust has been broken, until you find yourself wondering, how did I not see this sooner? The Stoics teach us to see things as they are, not as we wish them to be. While we cannot control how others feel about us, we can control who we allow into our lives. And that starts with recognizing the hidden signs of resentment before they drain our energy, manipulate our emotions, or sabotage our peace of mind. Hatred, when left unrecognized, can be more dangerous than an open enemy. It festers in the background, influencing decisions, eroding relationships, and quietly working against you. Have you ever ignored a bad feeling about someone only to be blindsided by their betrayal later? Have you ever convinced yourself that you were imagining things only to realize that your instincts were right all along? If so, you are not alone. Many people dismiss the subtle warnings because they don't want to believe them. They tell themselves that they are overthinking, that they are being paranoid, that surely if someone resented them they would know. But would they? In this breakdown, we'll uncover the subtle but undeniable signs that someone may secretly despise you. These signs are often invisible until you learn how to see them, and once you do, you'll never be deceived again. The key to protecting yourself isn't paranoia, it's awareness. And the sooner you develop that awareness, the stronger and more resilient you become. As Seneca once said, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Many of our worries are self-imposed, but when it comes to hidden resentment, the danger is real. The good news? You don't have to remain blind to it. You don't have to let hidden hostility catch you off guard. Stay with me until the end, because I'll not only help you identify hidden hatred, but also show you how to rise above it with wisdom and strength. Your peace of mind is in your hands. The question is, are you ready to see the truth? Let's begin. A. Hidden traps. How hatred hides in plain sight. Hatred is rarely loud. It doesn't always manifest in outright insults or direct confrontations. Instead, it operates in the shadows, hidden behind polite gestures and seemingly harmless interactions. The most dangerous enemies are not those who declare their hostility openly, but those who mask their resentment beneath a veneer of friendliness. The Stoics teach us that while we cannot control how others feel about us, we can and must be vigilant about the energy we allow into our lives. Hidden resentment, left unchecked, can drain us emotionally, distort our sense of reality, and make us doubt our own instincts. But if we learn to recognize the signs, we can protect our peace before it's too late. 1. Fake warmth, real coldness. A smile should feel warm, a handshake should feel genuine, and a conversation should flow naturally. But what if the smile is there, yet the warmth is absent? What if the laughter feels forced, the enthusiasm rehearsed? This is one of the first and most subtle signs of hidden resentment, the carefully curated performance of kindness that lacks sincerity. Picture this. You greet a colleague with a cheerful, good morning, and they return your smile. But as you walk away, you can't shake the feeling that something was off. Their lips curled upward, but their eyes remained flat, devoid of warmth. There was no real connection, just an empty, obligatory gesture. This is not friendliness, it is tolerance at best, concealed dislike at worst. Marcus Aurelius reminds us in Meditations, "Look beneath the surface. Let not the several quality of a thing nor its worth escape thee." The Stoics understood that truth is often hidden beneath appearances. A forced smile, an insincere laugh, a handshake that lacks grip. These are subtle signals that someone may harbor resentment, but is unwilling to express it openly. And the more attuned you become to these signs, the less likely you are to be deceived by empty pleasantries. 2. Silent exclusion. Not all hatred is loud, sometimes it speaks in silence. The easiest way to erase someone from your life without confrontation is through quiet exclusion. This is not the overt rejection of being told, "I don't like you." It is far more insidious. Unanswered texts, forgotten invitations, social gatherings where you are mysteriously left out. The worst part? It is done so gradually, so carefully, that you start to question whether it's even real. Imagine this. You used to be included in your friend group's weekend outings. Slowly, the invitations became less frequent. When you asked about plans, you were met with vague responses. "Oh, it was last minute," or "I thought you were busy." At first, you brush it off, but over time, the pattern is undeniable. You were not forgotten. You were excluded. Seneca once wrote, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve." The Stoics understood that genuine relationships are built on mutual respect and inclusion. If someone is subtly phasing you out of their life, take it as the message it is. Instead of chasing their approval, focus your energy on those who truly value your presence. 3. Passive hostility, the dismissal of your success. True friends celebrate your achievements. Hidden enemies, on the other hand, do not. They won't openly criticize you. That would be too obvious. Instead, they minimize your success, downplay your achievements, or refuse to acknowledge them at all. Consider this scenario. You finally land your dream job after months of effort. You excitedly share the news with someone you trust, expecting at least a simple, "That's amazing. Congratulations." Instead, you receive a lukewarm response. "Oh, that's nice. I guess that's a step in the right direction." No enthusiasm, no excitement, just enough detachment to make you second-guess whether your achievement was truly worth celebrating. This is passive hostility, a subtle but powerful way to undermine your confidence. People who resent you don't want you to fail outright. They just don't want you to succeed beyond them. Their indifference to your victories is not just a lack of enthusiasm, it is a quiet rejection of your growth. Epictetus warns, "If evil be spoken of you and it be true, correct yourself. If it be a lie, laugh at it." The same applies here. If someone refuses to acknowledge your progress, take it as a sign that they are not meant to walk this journey with you. Your success does not need their validation. 4. Backhanded compliments, the art of insulting with praise. Some people don't have the courage to criticize you outright, so they lace their hostility with just enough politeness to make it difficult to call out. Backhanded compliments are a prime example of this, a form of disguised contempt that leaves you wondering whether you were praised or insulted. You've heard them before. "Wow, I didn't expect you to do so well on that project." "You actually look really nice today. What's the occasion?" "I admire how confident you are, even when you don't always make the best decisions." At first glance, these statements seem positive, but listen closely and you'll hear the condescension woven into them. These words are not meant to lift you up, they are meant to make you doubt yourself. The Stoics teach us that our self-worth should never be placed in the hands of others. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If you allow veiled insults to affect your mindset, you are giving power to those who seek to diminish you. Instead, recognize these remarks for what they are, an attempt to undermine you in a way that cannot easily be challenged. 5. Manipulative attention. They only come to you when they need something. There is a difference between genuine friendship and strategic convenience. Some people only appear in your life when they need something, support, validation, a favor. But when you need them, they vanish. Think of the person who only reaches out when they need help moving, a recommendation, or emotional support, but is nowhere to be found when you're struggling. The moment they get what they want, they disappear until the next time they need something. This is not a relationship, it is a transaction. The Stoics remind us to judge people not by their words, but by their actions. A friend to all is a friend to none, Aristotle once observed. If someone only values you when it benefits them, they are not your ally. They are using you. And the sooner you recognize this, the sooner you can stop wasting energy on one-sided connections. Have you ever sensed someone subtly trying to undermine you, but you couldn't prove it? Have you ever ignored your instincts, only to later realize that the warnings were there all along? Stoicism teaches us that self-awareness is our greatest shield against manipulation. Seneca reminds us, "He who is brave is free." And part of bravery is trusting yourself, trusting that when something feels off, it probably is. You do not need loud betrayals or undeniable proof to walk away from those who drain you. A persistent unease, a pattern of subtle dismissals, a feeling of being tolerated rather than valued, these are enough. So take this as your moment of clarity. Recognize the silent warnings before they turn into real harm. And above all, remember this: your energy is sacred. Choose wisely who you allow into your world. But hidden hatred is not just about insincere smiles, quiet exclusions, or dismissive responses. Sometimes it takes on more insidious forms, patterns of behavior designed to destabilize, manipulate, and wear you down emotionally. If the previous signs weren't enough to make you rethink certain relationships, these next three will. Because when someone harbors true resentment toward you, they won't always act in passive-aggressive ways. Sometimes their actions become more deliberate, more targeted, and if you don't recognize them in time, you might find yourself stuck in a cycle of emotional exhaustion, constantly wondering why you feel drained after every interaction. 6. They make you doubt your own reality, gaslighting and subtle manipulation. One of the most dangerous signs of hidden resentment is when someone tries to distort your perception of reality. This is not simple disagreement or constructive criticism. It is a deliberate attempt to make you second-guess your own experiences, thoughts, and emotions. Imagine this. You confront someone about something they did that hurt you. Instead of acknowledging it, they twist the situation. "I never said that," they insist, even though you remember their words clearly, or they tell you, "You're overreacting," dismissing your feelings as if they're irrational. Over time, these small denials accumulate, making you question your own memory, your instincts, even your ability to judge right from wrong. This is gaslighting, an emotional manipulation tactic designed to erode your confidence and make you dependent on the manipulator's version of reality. The Stoics teach us to trust in our own judgment. Epictetus reminds us, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." If you constantly feel confused after talking to someone, if you find yourself apologizing for things you're not sure you even did wrong, take a step back. Ask yourself, Has this person made me doubt my own reality? Have they repeatedly dismissed my concerns or tried to rewrite past events? A true friend or ally will validate your feelings, even if they don't always agree with you. But someone who resents you will subtly manipulate the truth to maintain control, to ensure that you always feel off balance. If this pattern sounds familiar, trust your instincts and set firm boundaries. Clarity is power, and no one should have the ability to rewrite your perception of truth. 7. They publicly praise you but privately undermine you. This is one of the most deceptive forms of hidden resentment. Outwardly, they appear supportive. Perhaps they even compliment you in front of others, acknowledge your achievements, or speak well of you when the situation demands it. But behind closed doors, their actions tell a different story. Consider this scenario. You get a promotion at work, and your colleague congratulates you enthusiastically in front of the team. But later, you overhear them telling someone else, they only got promoted because they got lucky. Or maybe a friend tells you, you're so inspiring, but then consistently discourages you from taking bold steps forward, subtly planting seeds of doubt in your mind. This kind of two-faced behavior is particularly damaging because it creates a false sense of security. You think they support you, you believe they are on your side, until you realize their private words and actions contradict everything they say in public. This is not genuine encouragement. It is controlled resentment, designed to ensure that even in success, you still feel uncertain. Marcus Aurelius warns us, "The opinion of 10,000 men is of no value if none of them know the truth." In other words, public validation means nothing if, behind the scenes, someone is actively working against you. Pay attention to consistency. True allies will uplift you both publicly and privately. But those who secretly despise you will always reveal themselves in the quiet spaces, in the subtle words, in the actions that don't match their empty praise. 8. They drain your energy with constant negativity. There are two types of people in this world, those who uplift and those who drain. The latter often hide their resentment under the guise of constant negativity, always finding ways to inject pessimism, cynicism, or discouragement into your life. This is not the normal ups and downs of life, nor is it about supporting a friend through genuine struggles. This is about someone who never seems happy for you, who always finds a way to bring the mood down, especially when you're feeling positive. Imagine you share exciting news with someone, hoping for encouragement. Instead of sharing in your joy, they respond with something like, "Yeah, but that's not going to last," or, "Well, don't get too excited, things could still go wrong." Over time, these small jabs accumulate, making you hesitate before sharing anything good at all. You start bracing for their negativity before you even finish speaking. The Stoics teach us that energy is one of our most valuable resources. Seneca wrote, "Associate with those who help you, whose presence calls forth your best instincts." If someone in your life consistently drains you, if you feel exhausted, demoralized, or weighed down after every interaction, it is a sign that their resentment has turned into a form of passive sabotage. Recognizing this pattern is crucial because negativity is contagious. The more you expose yourself to it, the more it seeps into your own mindset. You start doubting yourself, seeing limitations where there were once possibilities. So ask yourself, does this person add to my life or take from it? Do I leave conversations feeling energized or depleted? If the answer is the latter, it's time to limit your exposure. You don't owe anyone unlimited access to your energy, especially those who use it to dim your light. Recognizing these signs is not about paranoia, it's about awareness. Too often we dismiss bad energy because it doesn't come in obvious forms. We make excuses for subtle betrayals, tell ourselves we're imagining things, or ignore the quiet discomfort that lingers after certain interactions. But the truth is, your instincts are sharper than you think. If something feels off, it probably is. So now ask yourself, who in your life makes you question yourself? Who praises you in public but undermines you in private? Who leaves you feeling drained instead of inspired? The answers may be uncomfortable, but they are also liberating. The Stoics remind us that we cannot control how others feel about us, but we can control who we allow into our space. Seneca said, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." So before you react, before you excuse, before you engage, pause, observe, recognize, then make a choice. Because at the end of the day, protecting your peace is not just about avoiding outright enemies. It's about identifying the silent, hidden traps before they consume you. And once you see them clearly, you'll never fall for them again. B. Internal power shift. Stop giving them power over you. Recognizing hidden resentment is just the first step. Once you see it, once you acknowledge it, the real question becomes, what will you do about it? This is where most people make mistakes, not in identifying the problem, but in responding to it. The moment you realize someone harbors resentment toward you, your natural instincts kick in. Some people obsess over it, desperately trying to win that person's approval. Others react with anger, seeking confrontation, revenge, or validation. But both of these responses, whether chasing approval or retaliating, are forms of weakness. They hand power over to the very people who wish to see you unsettled. The Stoics understood this deeply. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius's words remind us that we cannot control the thoughts, opinions, or feelings of others. What we can control is our reaction. If someone secretly despises you, their goal, conscious or not, is to affect your emotions, to influence your behavior, to shift your focus away from your own path. But the moment you allow them to do so, you have already lost. A truly strong person does not waste energy trying to win over those who dislike them, nor do they waste time retaliating. Instead, they remain centered, unmoved, focused on what truly matters. This is the internal power shift, the ability to recognize resentment without reacting to it, to acknowledge hostility without internalizing it, and to navigate the world with unshakable composure. 1. Do not react. Silence is your strength. When someone harbors resentment toward you, they want you to react. Whether they act passive-aggressively, subtly exclude you, or spread negativity, their goal is often to provoke an emotional response. Why? Because the moment you react, they win. You shift your attention away from your goals and onto them. You start overanalyzing their actions, questioning yourself, or feeling the need to respond. All of this drains your mental energy, leaving you emotionally exhausted over something or someone that is entirely outside of your control. If someone is able to provoke you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. Epictetus. True Stoic mastery means not giving people the reaction they seek. Imagine this. Someone deliberately ignores you in a group conversation, making a subtle effort to exclude you. The natural reaction? Feeling offended, pushing for acknowledgement, or withdrawing into self-doubt. But what if you simply remained unbothered? What if you didn't let their action dictate your emotional state? This is power. The ability to remain unfazed, to refuse to let the behavior of others dictate your peace of mind. And the irony is, the less you react, the less power they have over you. The more indifferent you become to their opinions, the more they fade into insignificance. If someone is rude to you, don't retaliate, stay composed. If they try to undermine you, Don't defend yourself. Let your actions speak louder. If they attempt to provoke a reaction, give them nothing. Because nothing unsettles a resentful person more than realizing they hold no control over you. 2. Do not explain. You owe no justifications. Another mistake people make when dealing with resentment is feeling the need to explain themselves. When someone disrespects us, our first instinct is often to seek validation, to justify our choices, our actions, our worth. But this is a trap. The moment you explain, you are asking for permission, and in doing so, you place your power in their hands. Seneca advised, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." The meaning? Do not spend your life explaining who you are to those who will never see your worth. Simply be. Act with integrity, live with purpose, and let your results speak for themselves. Consider this. You receive passive-aggressive criticism at work, something dismissive like, "You're lucky you got that promotion," or "I guess things worked out for you." The natural response might be to defend yourself, to explain all the hard work you put in, to clarify why you deserve your success. But what if you didn't? What if instead you simply acknowledged the comment with silence or a polite nod and moved on? The need to justify comes from insecurity. A Stoic does not seek approval. They do not explain their path. They walk it. If someone doubts your abilities, let your success speak for itself. If someone resents your happiness, let them sit with their own discomfort. If someone demands explanations for why you are where you are, respond with silence. A lion does not need to explain itself to sheep. 3. Do not lower yourself. Walk away without regret. One of the hardest lessons to learn is this: not everyone is meant to be in your life forever. Some people will outgrow you, some will resent your progress, and some will simply drift away. And that's okay. The greatest mistake you can make is lowering yourself to fit into spaces that no longer align with your growth. He who fears death will never do anything worthy of a living man. Seneca. This applies not only to the fear of death, but to the fear of loss, rejection, or being disliked. Many people stay in toxic relationships, whether personal or professional, because they are afraid of walking away. They cling to familiarity, even when it harms them. But the truth is, the cost of staying small to fit someone else's expectations is far greater than the cost of letting go. If someone does not respect you, do not fight for their approval. Walk away. If someone constantly minimizes your success, do not seek their validation. Distance yourself. If someone drains your energy rather than adds to it, do not try to change them. Remove them from your space. There is nothing more powerful than a person who knows their worth and refuses to beg for recognition. Do not waste time on those who secretly despise you. Invest in relationships that uplift you, in people who inspire you, in an environment that fuels your growth. Because the moment you stop seeking validation from those who do not serve you, you become unstoppable. A final thought. Who holds power over you? Now take a moment and reflect. What is one relationship in your life where you've wasted too much energy proving yourself to someone who didn't deserve it? Maybe it's a friend who never truly supported you. Maybe it's a family member who subtly belittles your success. Maybe it's a coworker who constantly finds ways to undermine you. Ask yourself, why do I still give them space in my mind? Why do I let their actions dictate my emotions? What would my life look like if I simply let go? The Stoics remind us that our greatest strength lies in what we choose to focus on. If we waste our energy on those who do not appreciate us, we rob ourselves of the ability to invest in those who do. So here is your challenge. For the next week, practice the internal power shift. Do not react. Do not explain. Do not lower yourself. The next time someone tries to provoke you, stay composed. The next time someone demands validation, remain silent. The next time someone disrespects you, walk away without looking back. Because true power is not about controlling others, it is about mastering yourself. And once you do, nothing and no one can shake you again. C. Emotional mastery. How Stoics deal with hidden hatred. Hatred is a test. It reveals not only the nature of those who resent you, but also your ability to remain in control of yourself. When faced with hostility, whether overt or hidden, many people react impulsively. They feel anger, frustration, or hurt. They defend, retaliate, or internalize the negativity. But the Stoics teach us something different. Instead of resisting hatred or letting it consume us, we must master it. We must use it as a tool to strengthen our discipline, sharpen our awareness, and refine our character. Epictetus, born into slavery, understood human nature better than most. He had no control over how others treated him, but he quickly learned that he had absolute control over how he responded. One of his most powerful lessons is, if someone is able to make you lose your temper, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. This is a profound shift in mindset. Most people believe that others make them angry, upset, or offended. But Epictetus reminds us that external events have no power over our emotions unless we give them permission. Imagine you're in a meeting and a colleague subtly dismisses your idea. The natural response? Defensiveness. You might feel compelled to argue your point, to prove your worth, to make them acknowledge your contribution. But why? Who benefits from your emotional reaction? Now imagine a different approach. Instead of reacting, you recognize the moment for what it is, a test of your control. You stay calm. You remain composed. You say, "Interesting perspective," and move forward. The person who sought to provoke you is left powerless, their attempt to manipulate your emotions completely neutralized. For the next 24 hours, practice not reacting. Observe how people try to trigger emotions in you through words, actions, or even silence. Instead of engaging, simply notice it. Ask yourself, is my mind being complicit in this provocation? If so, reclaim control. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and one of history's most respected Stoic philosophers, faced opposition every day. His own Senate often worked against him, plotting in shadows, questioning his leadership. He knew that resentment, whether deserved or undeserved, was inevitable, but instead of being consumed by it, he focused on what he could control. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This quote is the foundation of Stoic resilience. Marcus Aurelius could not control who envied him. He could not stop those who spread falsehoods behind his back. What he could control was his response. He remained steadfast in his duty, unwavering in his principles. His actions spoke louder than any defense he could give. Think of a public figure who remains unaffected by criticism. Maybe it's an athlete who stays focused despite media attacks. Maybe it's an entrepreneur who keeps building despite doubters. The reason they succeed is simple. They do not waste energy fighting every enemy. They know that their strength lies in mastering their own mind. Now think about yourself. How much time do you spend worrying about what others think? How often do you let resentment from others dictate your emotions? What if, like Marcus Aurelius, you simply focused on your path? Of all the Stoics, Seneca was perhaps the most pragmatic. He understood that we learn more from adversity than from comfort. One of his most intriguing lessons is this: an enemy is more useful than a friend if he teaches you how to master yourself. At first glance, this seems counterintuitive. How can an enemy be more valuable than a friend? But consider this. Friends comfort you, but enemies challenge you. They expose your weaknesses, force you to confront your emotions, and teach you where you need to grow. Identify your enemies. This does not mean literal enemies, but people whose negativity affects you. Who triggers anger or frustration in you? Who makes you feel small? Instead of reacting, step back. What does their behavior reveal about them? What does your reaction reveal about you? Use it as training. If someone constantly criticizes you, instead of feeling offended, ask, what skill can I develop to make their criticism irrelevant? If someone spreads rumors, ask, how can I strengthen my reputation so that gossip holds no power over me? Hatred then becomes a tool. The more people resent you, the more opportunities you have to refine your emotional control. So what do you do when you recognize someone secretly despises you? The Stoic answer is clear. You do nothing to change their mind. You do everything to strengthen your own. Let go of the need for approval. Not everyone will like you, and that's fine. Your purpose in life is not to win universal acceptance. It is to live with integrity. Focus on self-improvement. If someone resents your success, achieve more. If they criticize, let your work silence them. If they doubt you, prove them wrong through action, not words. Detach from emotional reactions. No matter what someone says or does, they cannot force you to react. That is a choice, and in that choice, you hold absolute power. To truly apply Stoic wisdom, I challenge you to a 24-hour experiment. No reaction to negativity, no defense against criticism, no explanation of yourself, just pure observation and internal mastery. The next time someone makes a passive-aggressive remark, remain silent. The next time you notice exclusion, do not seek validation. The next time resentment is directed your way, use it as a test of your control. At the end of 24 hours, reflect. Did I feel more powerful by not reacting? Did I conserve more energy by staying focused on my path? Did I weaken my enemy by denying them my emotional response? This is the Stoic way, the path of absolute emotional control. The moment you master it, you become untouchable. And that, in itself, is the greatest power of all. D. Logical strategies. The Stoic way to handle secret haters. Most people, when they sense hidden hatred, react emotionally. They become defensive, trying to prove their worth to someone who has already made up their mind. They dwell on the resentment, replaying conversations, analyzing actions, and seeking validation. Worse, they continue engaging with toxic individuals, holding on to relationships that drain them. This is the path of emotional slavery, allowing the opinions of others to dictate your peace. But the Stoics offer a radically different response. Instead of fighting hatred, they transcend it. The first and most powerful Stoic strategy is silence. When faced with hostility, the natural urge is to defend, retaliate, or seek closure. But why engage in a battle that serves no purpose? The truth is, people who secretly despise you do not deserve your energy. Their resentment is their burden to carry, not yours. By refusing to react, you deprive them of the satisfaction they seek. Silence is not weakness, it is control. It sends a message louder than words. Your negativity holds no power over me. The second principle is detachment from external opinions. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. If someone speaks ill of you, let them. If they undermine your success, let them. Their words and actions do not define you, only your response does. The moment you internalize this, you become untouchable. No insult, no gossip, no passive-aggressive behavior can shake your inner stability. The strong do not waste time arguing their worth. They simply live in a way that makes explanation unnecessary. The third and most advanced Stoic response is self-reflection. When someone resents you, ask yourself, are they right? If their hatred is baseless, dismiss it. But if there is truth in their criticism, use it. Seneca once said, "An enemy is more useful than a friend if he teaches you how to master yourself." Instead of letting resentment break you, let it sharpen you. If they mock your weaknesses, strengthen them. If they doubt your abilities, refine them. If they celebrate your failures, let their laughter fuel your success. So ask yourself, what's one thing you can do today to build an unshakable mind? Will you choose silence over reaction? Will you detach from the opinions of those who do not matter? Will you turn their hatred into your advantage? The choice is yours, and in that choice lies your true power. Hatred, when hidden, is far more dangerous than when it's exposed. It doesn't strike with a dagger, it seeps into your life quietly, eroding your confidence, making you question your worth, and draining your energy on those who don't deserve it. It doesn't come as a direct attack, but as small, subtle betrayals that wear you down over time. The moment you recognize this, you take back control. The Stoics teach us that our power lies not in changing others, but in mastering ourselves. You cannot stop someone from resenting you, but you can stop giving them space in your mind. You cannot force someone to respect you, but you can refuse to be affected by their disapproval. The truth is, no one's approval or hatred should dictate your life. The moment you stop seeking validation, the moment you stop reacting to hidden resentment, is the moment you gain true freedom. Because freedom isn't just about external circumstances, it's about what happens inside you. It's the ability to walk away without bitterness, to stand firm without seeking recognition, and to stay focused on your own growth regardless of who secretly resents you. When you master this, no insult, no dismissal, no hidden hostility can shake your inner foundation. So I leave you with this challenge. For the next 24 hours, pay attention. Observe, don't react. If you sense hidden resentment, don't try to change it. Just acknowledge it and let it go. Because real power is not proving yourself to those who secretly despise you. It's walking away with your self-respect intact. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Let that guide you as you navigate the complexities of human relationships. If this message resonated with you, drop a comment below. I choose inner peace over external negativity. Share this with someone who needs to hear it today. And if you haven't already, subscribe for more Stoic wisdom to help you master your mind and your life. Your life is yours. Protect your peace, strengthen your mind, and remember, what's one toxic presence in your life that you need to let go of today?